families across the country are reacting to the report that President Trump referred to U.S. service members who died in war as, quote, losers and suckers. The brother of 21-year Army veteran Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman posted online, quote, "I'm a loser, my wife is a loser, my twin brother is a loser. We are a family of public servant suckers." And the group VoteVets put out this ad.
My stepson was not a sucker. Lance Corporal Alexander Scott Arredondo died in Najaf, Iraq in 2004.
My son, Sergeant James Anthony Ayub II, gave his life in Kandahar, Afghanistan in 2010.
Mi hijo, Jesús Alberto Suárez del Solar, y murió en la guerra de Irak.
Honorably serving his country.
That is something Donald Trump will never know.
That's something that Donald Trump will never understand.
My message to Donald Trump is this: you have no right being a commander-in-chief.
President Trump has denied the accusations, and in a new interview, former National Security Advisor John Bolton said he was on the trip where the comments were reportedly made. He didn't hear Trump say that, but he also said it's not out of character for the president. Joining me now, Will Goodwin, an Army veteran and the Director of Government Relations at VoteVets. Will, you are a West Point graduate, and you served until a service-related injury led to an honorable discharge. What is your reaction to this, and what are you hearing from other service members and their families?
Sure. Well, Lindsay, what you saw in that video was families speaking about unimaginable pain in service to this country. What we learned from this Atlantic article is that Donald Trump can't even comprehend why their loved ones, why their sons and daughters chose to serve at all. And Donald Trump seems to think that the strength of the U.S. military depends solely upon the number of fighter jets we buy or the number of warships we have out at sea, and that is not it. The strength of the U.S. military comes from the men and women who fill its ranks and their families, people who would give literally everything in defense of this country, and they are not suckers. They are not losers. Donald Trump is the loser. That's the message coming from veterans across the country. And the suckers are the people defending him and maligning, spiting Gold Star families like the ones that we just heard from, to curry favor with a man who dodged the draft 5 times himself in Vietnam.
Well, John Bolton has called the president unfit for office. So what do you make now of his defense this time of the president, saying he never heard him make those disparaging remarks?
Sure. Well, I don't trust John Bolton for a second. We know that Donald Trump is a liar with no principles, because those are the tape-recorded words of his older sister, a former federal judge. And frankly, parts of this story have been confirmed by the senior-most administration official, Donald Trump himself. Going back to his 2016 primary campaign, he maligned the service of war heroes like John McCain. He attacked the parents and the memory of Captain Humayun Khan, who died in combat to this country. So there's no reason that we should believe the president, who has told over 20,000 documented lies during his administration.
Do you think John Kelly should come forward and set the record straight? I mean, he's at the center of this reporting.
Sure. Well, I mean, Lindsay, John Kelly, as a Gold Star father, has experienced a pain that you and I will never understand. And I think the part of this reporting about his moment with the president at his son's grave is his, and that is his decision. But when he chose to take the job of White House Chief of Staff, a political appointee job, he took on a role that leaves those other moments in this story as a responsibility he has to other American families, to the descendants of the 1800s slain Americans buried in France, to the caregivers of our wounded warriors who are wondering if the president really thinks that nobody wants to see them, the families of prisoners of war, those still missing in action. They deserve to know the truth. They are hurting too. And it's not John Kelly's decision to keep that truth from them. And frankly, our democracy rests on the ability of Americans to go in to vote this fall with full information on the man in the Oval Office. And I hope that John Kelly respects our democracy enough to speak publicly to those Americans.
Well, quickly before I let you go, the president has responded repeatedly. He's always touting his record on the military. He usually cites the Choice Act. Of course, we should remind everyone that was John McCain's bill. It was signed into law by former President Obama. But he also cites that he's increased military budgets. He's increased pay for military members. Can you fact check this for us?
Sure. Well, most of those claims are, inaccurate or embellished, including agreeing to a congressional increase in pay to keep up with inflation that happens literally every year. It comes down to this. The decision is going to rest in the voters' hands this November. And when it comes to choosing a commander-in-chief, we have the contrasted chief between two men of very different character, Joe Biden and Donald Trump. And that people should look at Joe Biden's record as well, because while Donald Trump was palling around with Jeffrey Epstein and filming The Apprentice, Joe Biden was leading the fight in the U.S. Senate to increase spending for up-armored MRAP vehicles, which saved thousands of American lives in Iraq and Afghanistan. And while Donald Trump was cheating on his pregnant wife with Stormy Daniels and running around in New York City stirring up the racist claims of birtherism, Joe Biden was actually in Iraq as vice president, where he visited his deployed son. The choice is clear. Joe Biden will be a real commander-in-chief, and that's why we're voting for him as veterans this November.
Will Goodwin with VoteVets, thanks for your time today, and more importantly, thank you for your service and your sacrifice for this country.